Up until recently, I have been under the distinct belief that perpetual motion is impossible. I was stuck in that because it's against the laws of physics. Now, recently we did actually create perpetual motion, and I'm going to show you the documentation of that perpetual motion, but first I think it's important to break down what perpetual motion is and why I thought it impossible. Perpetual motion is motion that goes on forever without any energy that comes from an outside source. Take this fan, for instance. The fan is in motion, and that motion in theory could be linked to a generator, and the generator can produce electricity that's fed into a battery, and the battery could then feed a power source that is then fed back into the fan. The fan is then kept on moving by the energy generated by its own motion, and that in theory should go on forever. There have been many claims of perpetual motion devices. Some of them are very, very clever, as you can see here, but none of them actually in reality do what they say on the tin. None of them produce perpetual motion. There is always something that gets in the way, and that is the second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics states that disorder increases in any closed system over time. It even gives a name to that disorder. It's called entropy. In the system where the fan produces its own energy for motion, we'll soon find that the wires lose energy to heat, the moving parts in the generator will succumb to wear and tear, and slowly the energy feeding into the battery will get less and less. The whole system will grind to a halt. So how have we overcome this idea of entropy increasing in a system over time? We often do experiments with our students at our education centre using chemical reactions to create hydrogen, filling balloons with that hydrogen so that we can do things like blowing them up and videoing them in ultra slow motion. We've got various videos if you want to take a look at our channel of us doing that. Less exciting than blowing up hydrogen balloons is that hydrogen is lighter than air. And one of our students posed the question, how many hydrogen balloons would we need to be able to float and to rise heavier balloons that have just been blown up with carbon dioxide from our mouths? So we needed to create lots of balloons. And we experimented with this. We created lots and lots of different balloons, and what we found really astonished me. 3 hydrogen balloons were needed to float 2 carbon dioxide balloons, 5 hydrogen balloons to float 3 carbon dioxide balloons, and 8 hydrogen balloons to float 5 carbon dioxide balloons. That's at a minimum of. I immediately recognised these numbers from the Fibonacci series. The Fibonacci series starts at 1. We add 1 to 0, which there's nothing before it, to get another 1. Then we have a 1 and a 1 to make 2. A 2 and a 1 to make 3. The 3 and the 2 to make 5. 5 and 3 to make 8. 8 and 5 to make 13. We're adding the next number in the series to the previous number to get the next number along and continue. We can put these in squares, so a 1 by 1 and a 1 by 1, then a 2 by 2, then a 3 by 3, and a 5 by 5, and an 8 by 8, and so on. We can go on forever with that, but what we end up with is this pattern for a spiral. And what's really interesting is that this spiral exists everywhere in nature. It exists in the sea. It exists in plant life. Everywhere we look, where we see a spiral, it is most likely following the Fibonacci series. Even in the human body. Take the ear, for example. It's the Fibonacci spiral. But we find this sequence everywhere. Again, if we divide these numbers, these consecutive numbers, by the previous number, we get an approximation of 1.6. And 1.6 is considered the golden ratio. The golden ratio is 1 to 1.6, and we see this everywhere again. Take the human skeleton. I won't explain this because you can see it in front of you. And this is just a minuscule part of where we find this golden ratio and Fibonacci series in nature. And this is how we got our perpetual motion. We've got balloons that are hydrogen connected to balloons that are carbon dioxide, connected together in the Fibonacci sequence. The green and yellow are hydrogen, the pink and white are carbon dioxide. And this gave us perpetual motion. We were amazed. We did not believe what we saw. So, what you think? I'd love to hear your comments in the section below. Are we on the cusp of an evolution in energy production? Do mathematical models and series such as the Fibonacci series combat the effect of entropy? Is there a mathematics that can produce order rather than disorder? Or is this just another attempt at perpetual motion that's doomed for failure? Again, let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to this channel for more entertaining, fun science videos, and hit that like button. And leave comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you very much for watching this video.